In the previous lecture, we had seen the concepts which are related to the moment when it is used in the problem. In the equilibrium, we have also said that along with sigma fx and sigma fy, we are required to consider the equation for sigma moment also. Now, moment, when we talk of the body which is in equilibrium, we will be taking the moment at any point of that body, and preferably it will be the point through which several forces are passing. Now, when several forces are passing through a single point, and if we take moment about that point, then all these forces will result in moment equal to 0, and the equation will be simpler. If we choose any point on that particular body, and if we take the moment, then all these forces will be the ones which are active for producing the moment, and you will have to find out the perpendicular distance of each of these force, or you are required to resolve each of these force in the horizontal and vertical direction and then take the moment. So, keeping this in mind, we will proceed with the next set of problems. See the first problem which is given to us. Now, in this first problem, there is a beam which is given to us, which is A, B, C, D, E, and on that particular beam there are three loads, namely 7.5 kg, 7.5 kilonewtons, 10 kilonewtons, as well as Q kilonewtons. This beam is supported by two cables which are attached at point B and point D. Now, when we consider these two cables, they can only take up the load which is the tensile one. That means you can only pull the particular cable. There cannot be a compressive load. So, ultimately these two cables, they are going to result in the upward forces, because they are required to support the downward loads which are present on that particular beam, and these two tensions are likely to be different ones. Now, let us see the problem statement. First of all, it is said that the tension in cable is to be found out when Q is given to us as 12 kilonewtons. Whereas in the second case, it is said that find minimum value of Q, for which the cable at D will become slack. Let us go back to figure. Now, so far as these two forces, these two tensions are concerned, we can name them as T1 and T2, and both are in the vertical direction. Now, to solve this particular problem, we will be having the equations of equilibrium like sigma fx equal to 0, and you will find that none of the force is in the horizontal direction. And so, we proceed to the next equation, that is sigma fy equal to 0 and sigma moment equal to 0. Sigma fy equal to 0 will say that T1 plus T2 both are upward, minus 7.5, minus 10, minus Q, and in the first case Q is given to us as 12 kilonewtons equal to 0. So, we will get one equation in T1 and T2. Now, to get the second equation, it will be the moment at point B, or moment at point D, or moment at point C. See, here if we take moment at C, then moment of T1 as well as T2 will come into picture. We know that we are having only two unknowns, T1 and T2, and it will be better if we take moment at point B or point D, so that one of the tensions, one of the unknowns will result in moment equal to 0. All the distances are also given to us, forces are vertical, all the horizontal distances are known, 0.5, 0.75, 1.5 and 0.75. So, we can easily take the moment with our assumption as clockwise moment as positive. So, the solution will be based on simply two equations. Let us write them. First one, it is sigma fy equal to 0, which will give me 7.5, everything is in kilonewtons, which is minus because it is downward, plus T1 minus 10 plus T2 minus 12 is equal to 0, and we get T1 plus T2 to be equal to 19.5 kilonewtons. So, we get one equation. The second equation will be now sigma moment at point B is equal to 0. Observe the figure. Moment of 7.5 will be 7.5 into 0.5. It is going to be in this direction, about B. So it is anti-clockwise. So we will have to take it as negative. Along with the sigma moment equation, show the direction which we are considering it as positive. So it will be minus 7.5 into 0.5. Then moment of 10 kilonewton force, will be clockwise. Moment of T2 will be anti-clockwise and moment of Q will be clockwise. So accordingly we will write the equation. It is, first we have already written 7.5 into 0.5, then it will be plus 10 into 0.75, then it will be minus T2 into 2.25, it is 0.75 plus 1.5, and then it will be plus 12 into, you will have to add all these, into 3 is equal to 0. And so you will get one more equation, rather you are getting value of T2 itself. You will get something like T2 into 2.25 is equal to, you are taking T2's term on the right hand side, on the left hand side you will be left with minus 3.75 plus 7.5 and then plus 36, and so you can get value of T2. If you substitute this T2 in the previous equation, you will also get value of T1, both the answers in kilonewtons. So the first part of the problem will be through, that is to determine tensions in the two cables. Now let us go for the second part. In the second part of the problem, it is said that find the minimum value of Q for which the cable at D will be slack. So cable at B is to become slack. See the consideration, why I have changed it, because as I go on applying more and more load at Q, the more and more moment will be produced, and that moment is going to cause this end move up, because as I increase the load, and then this cable at one time will have zero tension, and after that it will become slack. So we are required to find out the time when this is about to rotate. It is just balancing. That means tension T1 will be 0. If it would have been cable D, then I would have rotated it in such a manner that B is stationary and D is likely to move up. Now if D point has to move up, then Q force should not be applied downward, it should be applied upward, and then only this D cable can become slack. And so I have modified the problem slightly, that instead of cable at D we will become slack, I am making it B, and we will be solving the problem. If it is D, we will solve it again afterwards. So it is cable at B will become slack. So we will be saying that cable at B will become slack when T1 becomes 0. If T1 is to become 0, then T2 will be taking the entire load. Also that moment at point D, due to the forces 7.5, 10 as well as Q should cancel each other because it is still in equilibrium. So when I start with second part, for cable at B to become slack, T1 is considered as 0, and then we will proceed by taking the moment at point D to be equal to 0 with the same sense that clockwise positive. So it will be 7.5, this downward force at A, multiplied by, it is 2.75 anti-clockwise, so into 2.75 anti-clockwise, so negative. Then for 10, it will be 10 into 1.5, again anti-clockwise negative, and so far as Q force is concerned, it will be Q into 0.75 clockwise positive, so Q into 0.75 is equal to 0, and therefore we can determine value of Q. So when Q reaches this value, see, I am increasing Q, and every time with the increase of Q, tension at B, cable B, will start reducing and it will become 0. Ultimately T2 will be responsible for the entire sharing of the vertical loads. So these will be just balancing each other. It will be the case as if this cable at B does not exist. Simply one cable is going to support the loads. So we are trying to achieve the balance, that is the rotational balance. Vertically T2 will be taking up 7.5 plus 10 plus Q, that will be the net load. So this is how the problem should be solved if cable at B is to become slack. Now if cable at D to become slack, if that is the statement, if cable at D is to become slack, in that case we will be considering T2 to be equal to 0, that is T2 equal to 0, and Q should be the force which will be responsible for making this particular tension T2 0. We have seen that at point B, when I take the moment now, so I will be taking sigma moment at point B equal to 0 with clockwise positive, it will be minus 7.5 into 0.5, actually the equation we had written earlier, plus 10 into 7.5, and it will be plus Q into 3 is equal to 0, because T2 is considered as 0. Now you will find that minus 7.5 into 0.5 is minus 3.75, and this is 10 into 7.5 will be 7.5. Now addition ultimately comes out to be 3.75, plus we have 3 into Q, so plus 3 into Q is equal to 0. And you will find that Q in this case comes out to be negative minus 3.75 into by 3, that is minus 1.25 kilonewtons. Now this minus sign, as I have said it earlier, if our assumed direction is wrong, then the care will be taken by the calculations. So as I was saying it earlier, that if T2 is to become slack, then moment of these two and moment of force Q, they are going to cancel each other, but part of it might remain. If T2 is going to become 0, then about point B, these two will be creating the clockwise moment, whereas 7.5 kilonewtons will create the anti-clockwise moment. Now these moments should be 0 because there is no support T2, and ultimately it will be 10 into 0.75 and Q into 3. These two moments should be supported by 7.5 into 0.5, and ultimately we will find that this moment of 10 itself is much greater than 7.5 into 0.5, because the net moment of these two forces comes out to be clockwise, and one more force which is acting in the downward direction on the right hand side of B will again result in a clockwise moment, and there cannot be any cancellation effect. To cancellation effect, we will have to have this Q acting upward so that anti-clockwise moment will be produced, and you will get the value of Q accordingly as the negative value. So that was the solution of the first problem. Let us proceed to the second problem. Now in case of second problem, we are given an arrangement of a pulley which is passed over by a cable ABD, and it is said that the pulley is frictionless. We will try to understand this word afterwards. But whenever the word frictionless pulley comes into picture, the tension throughout the cable will remain constant. Whenever the pulley is frictionless, the tension throughout the cable will be constant, and this tension at point A will be shown in this manner because it is going to pull, and at point B it will be shown in this manner. So let us assume this tension as T. we are required to find the tension in this cable ABD as well as reactions at point C. Now C is nothing but the hinge, so I can replace this C by the vertical force and some horizontal force. So this will be VC and HC. All the distances are given to us. There is an applied force of 150 newtons to this particular L beam and a hinge was there. So I have removed that hinge. Now I am also going to remove this particular pulley B, but I want this angle because tension is going to make some angle over here. Here the tension is acting vertically. This angle theta can be found out because we know this vertical distance, which is 125, and the horizontal distance as 225 plus 75, that is 300. So I can easily write tan theta is equal to opposite side, that is 125, upon adjacent side, which is 300. And so theta also can be calculated. And once we calculate theta, this part of the figure is of course not required. It will be as the case of equilibrium among these forces. Now we will go for our standard equilibrium equations. Sigma Fx is equal to 0. We will go one by one. This tension will produce horizontal force, which is T cos theta towards right, so positive, plus Hc, another horizontal force, and there is no other horizontal force. So there are in all two unknowns which are coming into picture. So Hc comes out to be minus T cos theta. Of course theta is known, but T is not known. Of course Hc is also not known, but one equation is obtained. Second equation will be sigma Fy is equal to 0. Second equation will be sigma Fy is equal to 0. And then vertical forces. So at this point you have T sin theta, upward force, then minus 150 newtons downward, plus Vc, which is upward, and plus T is equal to 0. So ultimately I get one more equation. I will get the equation as T into bracket 1 plus sin theta plus Vc is equal to 150, and out of that only sin theta is known to me, T is unknown as well as Vc is unknown, but we get the second equation. The third equation, we are required to get rid of maximum unknowns. So Hc and Vc are two unknowns which are passing through point C. So I will take sigma moment at point C to be equal to 0. Moment at point C to be equal to 0. T should be converted into components here, and that will be T cos theta and T sin theta that will come into picture, whereas original T we are now going to remove. And as we take the moment at point C, T cos theta is going to produce a clockwise moment. Distance is 175 millimeters. Remember, I am keeping all the distances in millimeters, and we could be through, or you will have to convert each of the distance to meters. So it will be T cos theta into 175, first term, clockwise positive. Now at C you will find that T sin theta also produces the clockwise moment, and so it will be plus T sin theta into the perpendicular distance, which is 225, clockwise moment of T sin theta. Then there will be anti-clockwise moment of 150 newtons. So it will be minus 150 into 225 moment of HC and VC will be 0, moment of this T will be T into 75 is going to give the anticlockwise effect. So minus T into 75 is equal to 0, and you will find that sin theta cos theta values are known. The only unknown over here is T, which can be found out. We can easily find out the unknown T. That unknown T can be substituted in the previous equation, by which we can find out Vc, and same T can be substituted into the sigma fx equation. We can find out Hc. So all the values can now be calculated. So that was the second problem, dealing with the equilibrium and mainly the tension in the cable. See the thing very carefully. There is a beam ABC which is hinged at point C. At end A, we are attaching the cable which is connected to D. So there will be some tension into this cable which will be pulling it up. We are given the applied force as 500 and another tension T is to be calculated. That is what the problem statement is. The distances of that particular beam ACB are given along the inclined direction only as 250 millimeters and 200 millimeters, whereas when we are going to take the moment afterwards, we will be requiring the horizontal distances, and for horizontal distances even the angle 30 degrees is given to us. So if we are to take the moment, we can very well find out the horizontal and vertical distances of the points A and B with respect to C. The linear distance is directly given to us as 250 and 200 millimeters, but we might be requiring horizontal and vertical distances. Now here you will find that so far as this 500 newtons force is concerned, it is acting horizontally, and we will require the vertical distance if we are to take the moment, and this distance can be very well calculated also, because you know this length 200 and this vertical distance will be simply 200 sin 30. Now when we consider this tension T, we will be requiring this angle theta, either this angle, or we might be looking for the angle which is the vertical angle. Any one of these two angles can be considered as theta, preferably the vertical angle. So it becomes a problem of trigonometry now to solve the triangle. We know AC length as 250 and we also know that CD length is 400 millimeters. From that we are required to find out the angles. But out of this we are already aware that this angle, this is 30, so this angle is also 30 degrees, and this is 90. So in all this angle becomes 120 degrees. So if this angle at C is 120 degrees, we can be finding either this angle or this angle. That is what the procedure could be. So it will be just the problem of trigonometry to determine the angles. One is to find out any one of these two angles so that we can be getting theta. If our interest is simply to determine theta, then we will have to check up as which distances are known to us. I can very well complete the right angle triangle over here. This right angle triangle can be completed, but out of that right angle triangle we know only this distance 400, this distance is not known, and the horizontal distance is also not known to us. But that horizontal distance as well as this remaining distance can be calculated from this 250, and so let me name these points, as say point P, then this point as Q. And so I can say that from triangle AQC, which is a right angle triangle, I can determine AQ, which is going to be AC into sin 30, and AC length is known to us as 250, so it is 250 sin 30 will be AQ, and similarly QC will come out to be 250 cos 30. Also QC will be equal to PD. See the figure. It will be QC is equal to PD. So we can write QC equal to PD. And also observe that PQ plus QA will form the side AP of triangle APD. Write down, for triangle APD, we have AP is equal to AQ plus QP. AQ we have just calculated as 250 sin 30 and QP is given to us as 400. So AP can be easily calculated. And then PD, so we already have known, it is nothing but 250 cos 30. So with these two sides of the triangle, which is a right angle triangle over here, now we can determine sin theta or tan theta. Tan theta will be equal to PD upon AP. So let us write tan theta, which is equal to PD upon AP. Both the distances are known. We can determine angle theta. So therefore angle theta can be easily found out. So as we get angle theta, we can redraw that particular beam once again with force T making some angle. So I am just redrawing that figure. At C there could be a vertical reaction VC and a horizontal reaction HC. Beam is making 30 degrees. Distances are also known to us. It is A, B, C. At B there is a horizontal force of 500 newtons. This is point B. And at A we have tension T acting in the downward direction, making angle theta. And this system is given to us in equilibrium. Now our standard equations are to be used. Sigma Fx is equal to 0. This force T can be well splitted into horizontal and vertical components. In this case, the horizontal component will be T sin theta and vertical component will be T cos theta. So force T can be eliminated in terms of its components. And also the distances which are given to us are respectively 250 as AC and 200 as CB. When we consider sigma Fx equal to 0, the equation will be T sin theta plus HC minus 500 is equal to 0. And we get first equation as T sin theta plus HC is equal to 500. Sin theta is known to us, we have already calculated theta. T and HC are the unknowns. When we write sigma Fy equal to 0, it will be downward force T cos theta, that is minus T cos theta, plus upward force Vc is equal to 0. And we get one more equation, Vc minus T cos theta is equal to 0. Again cos theta is known, Vc and T are unknown. And finally we will be taking the moment at point C to be equal to 0. Now this equation is going to be the lengthy equation. It is t cos theta which will produce the clockwise moment at C. So it will be t cos theta, and we are looking for, being a vertical force, horizontal distance. This angle is 30 degrees. So it will be 250 cos 30. Then t sin theta will produce the clockwise moment. This t cos theta is producing anti-clockwise, so it will be negative. Our assumption is still the same, clockwise positive. So t cos theta produces anti-clockwise moment, t sin theta produces clockwise, so it will be t sin theta into the vertical distance will be 250. This t sin theta into 250 sin 30 degrees positive. And this 500 Newton force, which is horizontal, its vertical distance will be 200 sin 30. 500 Newtons is going to produce the clockwise moment as such. At point C it will be rotating in clockwise direction. So it will be plus 500 into 200 sin 30 is equal to 0. And out of this, the last equation, as the theta values are known to us, the only value that is unknown is t. So t can be calculated. When you substitute this t in the previous equation, you will get Vc, and substituting the same value of t in sigma fx, you will get value of hc. And so the required answers can be easily found out. We have considered 3 problems. Now let us proceed to the 4th one, where we are given a truss which is made up of several components which are all connected to each other, and these are all the pin joints or hinges, we can say. Of course, our interest is not the joints, but we are required to find the support reactions, that is reaction at A and reaction at B. The external forces which are acting are 2 kilonewtons and 2 kilonewtons, both are horizontal, and 3 kilonewtons which is vertical. One support is a hinge, that is point A, whereas the other support is a roller support, but it is not resting on horizontal plane, but it is resting on a plane which makes 30 degrees with horizontal. As we find the reactions, we will be always replacing the particular support by the reactions which will be generated by it. So there will be vertical reaction at A and a horizontal reaction at A. And at B, it is going to be a reaction which is perpendicular to the surface on which the roller is resting, and ultimately it comes out to be, say, reaction at B, which can be written as RB, and with respective perpendiculars it is making 30 degrees with vertical. Actually that RB will make 60 degrees with horizontal. And now this problem is to be solved. This RB can be very well splitted at joint B. We are showing that RB makes 30 degrees. So RB can be splitted into the vertical and the horizontal component, and you can very well indicate that the horizontal component is RB sin 30, whereas vertical component is RB cos 30 with the directions which are shown. And this RB reaction at B can then be removed. So let us replace these two components at point B. So at B I will have vertical component as RB cos 30 and horizontal component as RB sin 30. As we are talking about the equilibrium, the same 3 equations will be still applied. Like the first one, sigma fx is equal to 0. Of course, towards right positive. So we have horizontal force HA at joint A. Then two horizontal forces which are 2 kilonewtons each. And one horizontal force at B acting towards left. So minus RB sine 30 is equal to 0. And you will get the equation as HA minus RB sine 30 equal to minus 4. As we write sigma Fy equal to 0, we have vertical force VA, which is reaction acting upwards. The 3 kilonewton force which is acting in the downward direction, as well as the vertical force at point B, reaction, that is RB cos 30 is equal to 0. And so we get the equation as VA plus RB cos 30 is equal to 3. We are still continuing with the three unknowns, HA, VA and RB. Now let us take the moment, and now moment should be taken about point A, because through A, HA and VA are passing. So when we take moment at point A and equate it to 0, it will be sigma moment at A equal to 0 with clockwise as positive. Let us check all the moments. About A, this 2 kilonewton force will produce a clockwise moment which will be 2 into 1.5, so positive. This 2 kilonewton force will produce a moment of 2 kilonewtons into perpendicular distance, that is 3. So 2 into 3 again clockwise. This 3 kilonewton force passes through point A, and that's why its moment will be 0. And RB sine 30 also is passing through point A, its moment will be 0. There will be moment of RB cos 30 which is anti-clockwise, it is RB cos 30 into perpendicular distance, that is 2, anti-clockwise negative, and equate it to 0. So we write the equation as 2 into 1.5 plus 2 into 3 minus RB cos 30 into 2 is equal to 0, from which you can find out RB in kilonewtons this time. This RB can be substituted in sigma Fy to find VA, and same RB can be substituted in sigma Fx to find HA. And then the solution of the problem will be complete. We are required to find the reactions. Remember that we have replaced the roller by the reaction which is perpendicular to the surface, and that angle was known to us, so that inclined reaction which we got, RB, which was making 30 degrees with vertical, is also converted into horizontal and vertical components, so that we can get the required answers. Let us consider the second problem. See the problem carefully. It's a beam of some length which is put with the support of two walls, and these two walls are given as smooth walls. That means if you apply a force, if you try to push this end down, it can be easily pushed, there is no friction. This beam is attached to a cable which will of course give the upward force, which is not shown. We will have to consider that force, which is the tension in the cable. And at point C there is a load of 20 kg which is applied. All the distances are given to us. Now when it is said that it is a smooth wall which cannot produce horizontal reaction, rather which cannot produce the reaction along the wall, but it can very well take up the load which is perpendicular to it. So the reaction at A will be horizontal reaction, HA, towards right, and reaction at D will be also horizontal, but it will be towards left, and unknown T. So here we are again having 3 unknowns. 20 kg load should be converted to newtons, so it will be 20 kg into 9.81, and we can proceed with the solution part. Being in equilibrium, I can write sigma Fx equal to 0, which will be HA minus HD equal to 0, or you will get HA is equal to HD. When we write sigma Fy equal to 0, HA won't be there, so it will be vertical force T upward minus 20 into 9.81, which is downward. HD is also horizontal, so only 2 forces which are in the vertical direction, tension and the load, and so T will come out to be 20 into 9.81 newtons. And now we can take the moment at any of these points, so these distances will be useful. If we find this angle made by the beam with horizontal, if this angle is theta, then that theta can be calculated. If you complete this triangle, this height is given to us as 200, and this total height, total length over here can be calculated, because total horizontal distance is 125 plus 75 plus 3 plus 175, it will come out to be 375. So this is 200 by 375 is the triangle. So tan theta can be calculated as 200 upon 375, and therefore theta is known to us, so many degrees. Because while taking the horizontal distances, when we take the moment, or the vertical distances, these 125, 75, 200, these distances are not of any use. We are required to take some other distances which are horizontal and vertical, but in relation to this. कितनी मिनट डाल है? आणि आता कितवं मिनिट झालं कडनं कितवं मिनिट चाललं या क्लिपेट मध्ये. So we can write the third equation, sigma moment say about point B is equal to 0. We will proceed with taking the moment at point B, but then we are finding a basic difficulty, as we are required to measure this vertical distance for which that theta was required. So skipping that particular moment at B part, we can proceed to moment at A or moment at D, so that we don't have to consider this angle theta at all, because we are not required to take these distances for force T. We require horizontal distance which is known to us, horizontal distance for load at point C, that is also known, and vertical distance for HD, that is directly known to us as 200. So skipping this theta part, if we take moment at point A, sigma moment at point A equal to 0 with clockwise positive, moment of T will come out to be anti-clockwise. It will be minus T into 125 negative. Moment of this 20 kg load will be 20 into 9.81 into 200 millimeters, the total distance, and is clockwise, so positive. And moment of HD about point A will come out to be anti-clockwise, so it will be minus HD into the vertical distance, which is 200, is equal to 0. Now we have already calculated T, so T can be substituted into it. Substitute this value of T here, substitute this value of T here, and we can determine what is value of HD. That will be in newtons. and this HD is same as that of HA, and the problem can be completed. So after the previous problems, let us now start with the problems which are related to reactions once again, but this time we will go for a different type of loading. That loading is shown in this manner, which is called as UBL, that is uniformly distributed load. And this will be always given as so many newtons per meter. So we can specify that this load is, say, 4 newtons per meter or 4 kilonewtons per meter, and if this length is, say, L, then the total load will come out to be 4 into L in this case. If it is given as small w, this W newtons per meter, then it will be W into L. That will be the net load or the total load. And when it is converted to a point load, it will be acting at the center, and the equivalent figure can also be drawn. That is the same beam, but the load of W into L will be acting at the center of the span on which it is acting. So it will act at a distance of L by 2, where L is the distance along which that uniformly distributed load was placed. So you are required to find out the midpoint and place the load over there. And so the problem will be converted to the problem of point loads and solved as usual. There is some other type of loading also which will come into picture, and that is called as the uniformly varying load, UVL. Uniformly varying load. And this uniformly varying load will be shown on the given diagram or the load diagram as a triangle. It is normally shown in this manner. And this height could be given to us as W. This length is also known to us as L. This is called as a uniformly varying load. At one point there is zero load, but as we move along this length, the load will go on increasing. And this is a straight line, so it is uniformly varying. Now in this case, the load, total load or total force due to this will be area of this triangle, which will be equal to 1/2 W into L. It is half base into height. And if it is to be converted to the point load, then this load is going to pass through the CG of this triangle, and CG of a triangle is always at a distance of 1/3 of height from base, but the load should be considered as base. Length on which it is acting should be considered as height, and so it will be acting at a distance L by 3 from the maximum load. So we can show the point load here, which will be W into L by 2, which will act at a distance equal to L by 3 from maximum load. So this is a uniformly varying type of load. The third type of loading is uniformly varying only, but in that case it will vary not from zero load, but it will be having some initial load also. So the diagram corresponding to it will be shown in this manner. So this is also a uniformly varying load. Only thing is, none of the end is having a zero load. Say this load is W1, this load is W2. So it varies from W1 to W2 along this length L. Now this loading can be very well divided as, first of all, some UDL, because this is going to be that uniformly distributed load of W1 is throughout there, so I can show it as W1 newtons per meter, plus there will be a triangular load which varies from zero load. So I am going to calculate this height, which will be obviously W minus W1. So W2 minus W1 will be the triangle. So this is equal to, this loading is equal to UDL of W1 plus UVL of 0 to W2 minus W1, and effectively the corresponding diagram will now be drawn, because this will be converted to a point load of W1 into L acting at a distance L by 2, whereas this can be converted to a point load which is acting at a distance L by 3 as we have shown it earlier, but the area of this triangle will be 1/2 W2 minus W1 into L. That will be area of the triangle, but acting at a distance equal to L by 3, which will totally give me 2 point loads along that length, one acting at the center which is W1 into L, other acting at a distance equal to 1/3 which will be W2 minus W1 into L upon 2, and their distances are respectively L by 3 and L by 2. So a combination load where the variation in the load is not from 0 to some point, as it varies from W1 to W2. It can be uniformly considered as W1 throughout, so there is a UDL of W1 newtons per meter, and this is the triangle that is uniformly varying load from 0 to this load, that will be W2 minus W1, because we have already considered W1 part of it. Each one of them can be individually converted to the point loads at the respective positions. For UDL it is midpoint, and for UVL it is 1/3 of height from base, and then both these loads together will show us the load corresponding to the loading which is the trapezium type of loading. So in the further problems we will be coming across loading of this particular type. So let us consider the problem to find the reactions at B and D. And there is several types of loading. There is a point load, there is a uniformly distributed load, some angular load, a roller support, a hinge support, and of course we don't have the uniformly varying load so far as this problem is concerned. Here for the first time you will find that the supports are not at the ends of the beam. Supports are not at the ends of the beam, but they are slightly inside. This portion is called as the overhang portion of that particular beam. Of course, that doesn't change the procedure of solving the problem. First step over here is to replace the supports as well as the UDL type of load to a point load, and if there is any angular load, that should be converted to components by redrawing the figure. This 20 Newton force will still remain 20 Newtons acting downward. B, there was a hinge, should be replaced by a vertical force VB and a horizontal force at point B, which is HB. Then observe that from C to D there is a load of 10 newtons per meter for the length of 2 meters. So the total load will come out to be 10 into 2, that is 20 newtons acting at the center. So one more 20 newton load is coming, which will be acting at a distance equal to 1 meter. Then the support reaction at D, this is a roller support that is given to us, so only a vertical reaction VD. 12 Newton force is acting in this direction, can be converted to components. We'll have horizontal component going towards left as 12 cos 45 and a vertical component downward, which is 12 sin 45, and finally force of 4 newtons at the rightmost end. So this is the diagram which will be useful for solving the problem. Points are A, B, C, this point doesn't have any name, D, E and I. Let us name this point as Z. All the distances are known to us. The first equation, of course, can be written as sigma Fx is equal to 0. There is no horizontal force at A. At B it will be HB towards right, so positive. No force at C, Z, D. There is a horizontal force at E towards left, minus 12 cos 45 is equal to 0, and you get value of HB directly as 12 cos 45 newtons. When we write sigma Fy equal to 0, looking at this diagram, it will be minus 20, which is downward, plus VB, which is upward, then again minus 20, which is downward, plus VD upward, minus 12 sin 45 downward, and minus 4 equal to 0, and we get something like VB plus VD equal to some numerical value, so many newtons. And to take moment, we will use point B. We will be using point B for finding the moment. And when we take moment of this 20 Newton force, it is going to be anti-clockwise, 20 into the distance 1.3 meters, anti-clockwise, so negative. Moment of HB and VB will be 0. Moment of this 20 Newton force will be 20 into 2. This distance is 1 and this is also 1. So 20 into 2 clockwise positive. For D, it will be VD into 3 anti-clockwise negative. 12 cos 45 passes through B horizontal, so 0. Whereas 12 sin 45 is vertically downward, will produce clockwise moment, which will be again positive. It will be 12 sin 45 into the distance will be 1 plus 2, that is 3 plus 1.1, 4.1. And for a load of 4 newtons, which is acting in downward direction at I, will produce the clockwise moment. It will be 4 into the perpendicular distance, which is going to be 5.3 meters. And so the moment equation will be minus 20 into 1.3, anti-clockwise moment, so negative, plus 20 into 2, clockwise positive, minus VD into 3, anti-clockwise negative, plus 12 sin 45 into 4.1, clockwise positive, and then 4 into 5.3, clockwise positive, equal to 0, which will enable us to find out value of VD as some newtons. It was sigma moment at B equal to 0. This Vd can be substituted here and you will also get value of Vb. And the problem will be complete. So the concept over here is to convert the UDL or UVL to the point load and proceed with our usual way.